Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a special look at the expansion for On Mars. On Mars was designed by Vitalis Cerda and is published by Eagle Gryphon Games. In this expansion, Alien Invasion, you're going to turn the competitive game of On Mars into a cooperative game. And you're going to have 4 different chapters that you can play in this expansion. And these chapters are really just modules that you can play in the game. You don't have to play them in any sort of order. I just want to get that right off the bat here. But this expansion here is going to add a alien aspect to it where the aliens want to wipe out the humans and remove them from Mars. Now, each of these modules actually has different player counts and different requirements for them. The first module is a non-cooperative module in a way. The first module is going to be a one player versus many. So one player is going to play as the aliens trying to wipe out the humans, and all the other players are going to play as the humans trying to push back the aliens and remove them from Mars. So that's the first module. The next 2 modules, module 2 and 3, are cooperative modules, and the 4th module is a solo module. Now, I'm not going to go over the rules for the game. Or this expansion, I mean, or the rules for the base game for that matter. There's a lot of really cool, great rules videos out there. I recommend RTFM. They did a really great job with rules for the base game and rules for the expansion. I'm just going to show you what comes with the game and what you're basically going to get. And then we're going to go back to my final thoughts on the game itself, or expansion itself. So let's go ahead down the table here, and I'll show you what comes with this. So let me show you what you get with this expansion. You get a lot of stuff with the expansion here. You're going to get this alien board here, which won't be used in every scenario, and then you're going to have this tracker here. This one here is going to be used for the solo game. This one here is going to be used, I believe, for Blackout. Here, I was holding it upside down. And this one here is going to be used mainly in the first scenario here. And you have chapters or whatever, but they don't matter. You can pick one of the 4 on here. They play differently. There is a little story that goes in between them. But if you're playing with a group of people, you're obviously not going to be playing the 4th chapter, which is a solo game itself. So it's basically just a different way of doing the solo mode for the game. You're going to get this alien board, like I said. You're going to get these red reusable action tokens. These are the action tokens that the alien player will use. The alien player doesn't use its actual aliens to place as workers on the board. It's going to have these action tokens, and then it's going to have these temporary action tokens that it gains from different events in the game here, and the alien player will use these on the board, and they don't get moved until it does a recall and pulls them back. The temporary tokens will go away either way. You have these 20 green aliens. And these are important because in one of the chapters here, you need to get 20 of these guys out to win. If you do that, you win. You also will have these buildings. And these buildings, like in the base game, these buildings here can be used to place out on the board and get your basically blueprint advantage for the aliens. You also have these sentry bots. These sentry bots are actually not for the aliens, but these sentry bots are for the players. And the same thing along with this little mech here. This mech here can be picked up by the players to eliminate aliens on the board. Also, you have the building tiles here. And you get a good little set of the building tiles. These are for the alien building tiles. In the game itself here, there's even another one down here. You get this immunity tokens here. These are used by the players to protect their techs. You're going to get these tokens here, which are going to go out, and they're going to cover over some of the things that are placed on the board here by the aliens. to basically deactivate those. Here's some LSS tokens, and these LSS tokens, in one of them you'll just get gems. So there's the gems that are available. Also, note that you can see on the alien tech board, the aliens just use gems. They don't use any other type of resource. They only care about those gems to do the different things that they can do. So that's those. You get the alien player token, which I can't pull out right now, and you get this little scientist that you can use for the alien science card. These are shield tokens. These shield tokens can be used to protect the techs from being corrupted, basically being set to be unused. These ones here work with the purple tech, and they will basically, you have an infection that can run through the players, and these can be built to make medicine to heal those workers. And let's see what else we got here. Here's the little alien tech cards for different things that they have, and they have their own little tech tree here. You notice it's a lot shorter. Also on this alien tech tree, they don't have to pay to move up on the tech tree, or when they move up on the tech tree, and their bonuses are a little slower, but they do gain things like here's gaining more of those little aliens that they can use out on the board, or gems, because they're all about the gems. There's also the alien scientist token, which is really cool. I bet you it's back in here somewhere. And you can think of this alien scientist like one of the scientists you pick up in the game, only for the aliens. This one can be used to do the executive action on some of their building cards. So they get a lot of different stuff here, or card-wise. So, like here's an example of their buildings. Actually, these are the buildings that don't go out for them. This one, but this one is. So this one here, they can basically deactivate a one of the players' techs. They can put these little tokens on it, and those techs will they'll have to place a shield on it to remove it. Once they do that, the shield and that gets removed. This one here, gain another alien, but basically you can use the executive action here to with their scientist, and that won't move until everything is recalled. So you get a lot of different cards in here, and the different scenarios are going to tell you when to substitute and when to just add these in. A lot of them you're not going to be doing the main objectives for the game. Some of them you'll be trying to get to up to 100 points before they put out 20 aliens, and some of them you'll be trying to move across this track. So each scenario will tell you what needs to happen, but you get a lot of cards that you're going to add in here to the game itself at different points. So yeah, here's another huge deck. Here's some more of the cool buildings here. There's more that gives you those medicine. That's cool. The gems. So those were, I think, the level ones. Yeah, the level ones. There should be a little stack of level 3s in here. Here's scientist replacement cards for some of the things that you're going to run into. Where's those level? Here's some. There's level. I passed them here somewhere. Here's some more alien ones that do cool stuff. And here are some of the alien cards. And these ones, I believe, are just for the solo mode of the, we'll call them modules instead of chapters, and that's module 4. So really quickly, that's going to be the components. And you get a ton with this expansion. You'll also get a rule book, and you'll get this really handy dandy reference here. So once you read through the scenario book, you will, and you don't actually have to read through the whole book here. So this is going to give you a little bit on the story here, And if you want to do the first chapter, which is going to be Invasion, this one here you're going to need to have minimally 3 players. So you'll have to have one person playing the aliens, which will be using this alien board, pushing up these techs, using their tokens to do the different actions on their turn, and trying to defeat you through there. And the difficulty for it's going to be shown here, which is going to be moderate. So you have to know that you will be having to have at least that player count here. It'll tell you here the goals and victory loss conditions. So in this first chapter, which is just basically a module, the human players are a team, so all 3. Like in the base game, you're going to be you're working for yourself, and you're trying to get the most OP or whatever, the opportunity points or whatever they are by the end of the game. This one instead, you're in this whole thing here, you're going to be working together. So this is one versus many. You're going to be working together to succeed despite the alien commanders meddling, and before the alien troopers are deployed. You're trying to get 100 points here basically before 20 alien troopers make it onto the board. The end of the game is not triggered by the remaining mission markers reaching the end of a track. The end of the game is triggered by you either getting to 100 points or the aliens getting 20 troops out. And the other cool or interesting thing about this is the alien players will take turns in between every single player. So the first player will go, the alien player goes. Second player go, alien player goes. Third player goes, alien player goes. Fourth player goes, alien player goes. And the alien player can use these tokens to do different things for the board, on the board itself. So they'll just, like I said, place the token on here. Here they'll move up one of their, get a tech. Here they'll get a blueprint. Here they'll place a tile on the board. Here they'll place a building. Here they'll move the tech along there. And like the humans, when they pass over or land on one of the spaces on the tech tree, they'll gain that bonus. And you'll notice that there's a lot of really cool ones that help actually get more troops out. You also have space here where you can place an alien troop on one of your tiles. Here you can spend 2 crystals to get a good. Here you can, as well, this one here you'll place it beside this one. You can deploy it on this one here. You can move your aliens. Now the cool thing about the aliens here is they actually will block the other players from being able to place out buildings. So they're going to have to knock down that alien in order to be able to place out any buildings. And the players have things at their disposal like that mech and the sentry bots to help them out with that. So in general, that is going to be the first mode of the game. You're going to be having, and I know I'm not going over all these rules. There's RTFM and other people have really good rules videos on how to play this. I'm just giving you a general idea of what you're getting into and what you get. So that's that first one. It's going to go into like basically how the sabotage tokens work, how the aliens work when they go out there, and how the exosuit or mech, I like to call it a mech instead of exosuit, works, what the alien actions do on the board, and so on. And this one here is going to be the largest section on here. But note that this is completely different scenario. This one here is going to be Outbreak. This one's going to get into that medicine, and you're going to have the new scientists out. You're going to have that new scientist available. You're going to replace stuff on the board. You're going to have immunity tokens. You're going to have the pill tokens. And this is a 2 to 4 cooperative cooperative game against the game. So this one's very hard. Outbreak is hard. Actually, I think it is the hardest, regardless of whatever it says on the other ones, or at least for me. It's just going to show you how to set it up. Then it's going to go over goals and condition losses in here. This is the group loses if any of the following are true. 12 of the 14 colonists or the currently active colonists are all infected at the end of the player's turn. The time tracker token decreased from 1 to 0. That's going to be this board here you're going to use. The group immediately will win if that collectively achieve both goals on the mission cards. If you have fewer than 12 to 14 colonists infected. So this one basically is just a race against the clock to try to get that under control. Blackout here is a 2 to 4 player game, difficulty moderate. This one's actually not too bad. This is where you're going to be using the vandalism card to do different things on the board. And Blackout is one of my favorite. I like the first chapter or whatever module first. It goes over your goal and victory loss conditions. All right, so this one's going to actually be using these tokens right here, and these are going, oops, not these tokens. Where'd they go? These tokens. Going to be using these tokens too, and these tokens are going to be used to do blackouts on the board here, and you're trying to prevent a certain number of your locations from being blacked out, which gets into the goal, victory, loss conditions. Working together to find the alien saboteur. The group loses if any of the following are true. Currently 5 buildings, hexes, have blacked out tokens and the colonists lying on top of them. Nobody has any colonists available to assign to a blackout token when this is required. The game ends by the usual game end conditions before you win. The group wins if you have caught the aliens, you have moved the time tracker token from 1 to 0 on the time track overlay. This requires you to achieve a certain number of goals according to player count. So here you'll have to get 8 mission goals, 7 mission goals, 6 mission goals, and this one's basically a cooperative race against the clock to perform these. The last one is going to be the solo one. So if you like the solo mode in the first game, this one is like the solo mode on steroids. It's going to be using this deck right here to ruin your day. And you're going to be using the cubes from the base game to cover these over, and once there's 2 cubes on any of these, they will trigger and do really horrible bad things for you. By the way, these are for the third chapter, these are the cards that you would be using for that. They will basically flip over. If this says flips over, it's nothing. But these ones flip over, it'll tell you what type that you will be placing these blackout tokens on. Once this one flips, you will actually reshuffle the entire deck and draw from it again. So in a very, very quick nutshell, that is what you get and what each of the different scenarios that it has available. Well, they call them chapters, but each of the modules that you have available in the game. Once you play them, you don't need this rule book anymore. This is a nice little handy dandy layout for that. So let's go ahead back up to the table here and I'll give you my final thoughts on Mars Alien Invasion. So I really like On Mars Alien Invasion expansion. I think it's a really great expansion. The component quality for this is just phenomenal, just like the base game. And one of the really cool things with this, I actually think that this expansion might be better for new players. I think that now both games are definitely on efficiency, and I don't like quarterbacking, so I don't think that should be there. But this is, but there's so much to On Mars, and there's so much to teaching it that playing it cooperatively is probably going to be the best introduction for the game, because you can help out the opponents, or your other players, and give them suggestions on how they can succeed on this, and they can learn all the different action spaces on the board before they move to the cooperative version. So this might be something where you play this before you play the base game itself, which is unique for an expansion and a cool idea. So I like that. The solo game, if you like solo in the base game, the solo in this game is amazing. It's like that with steroids. So if you're a solo player, this expansion is almost a must-have if you like On Mars. Like I said, I like the 1 versus many, the first chapter / module. That's a lot of fun, but the other 2 are really cool too with the cooperative. So there's a lot of replayability in the game, and there's absolutely no reason why you wouldn't replay over and over again any of these chapters. They have nothing to do with being in order. If you care about the little tiny story it has in the chapters, just read it. They do branch into each other, but they have nothing at all really to do with the gameplay itself. So if you care about that, just read it and play these modules as you wish and as you have people out to play it. So if you have a group of people, play either the one versus many or chapter 2 or 3. If you only have 2 players, you can only play chapter 2 or 3. If you're by yourself, just play the solo. So overall, really great expansion. If you like On Mars, I would highly recommend it. If you like On Mars and you don't like cooperative games, maybe pass it. But if you do like solo, still probably pick it up. So that's my thoughts on Mars Alien Invasion. Thank you for watching.